Guys, hello guys. Today we are going to again discuss about the solved question paper 2018. So, we are going to discuss about the 11th question. Tate once made a useful distinction between structure and texture. The distinction referred to the main line of a narrative argument, etc., and the rhetorical, stylistic, metaphorical, and other devices, respectively. B. The device employed to enlighten objects and materials in a narrative and the objects and material themselves, respectively. C. Object and materials on which a narrative casts light and the devices employed to enlighten them, respectively. D. The rhetorical, stylistic, metaphorical, and other devices and the main line of narrative argument, etc., respectively. So, what is the answer? The option number A is the answer. The main line of a narrative argument, etc., and the rhetorical, stylistic, metaphorical, and other devices, respectively. If we discuss about its detail, Tate was a poet, teacher, novelist, and leading exponent of new criticism. He was one of the youngest new critics. He belonged to the southern group of American critics. He gives importance to the former qualities of a work of art. Reactionary essays on poetry, ideas, and region in madness are well-known collections of essays and reviews by Tate. As a new critic, Tate has coined the term tension to describe what he calls the common quality of good poetry. Question number 12. Match the poem with the opening lines. Ode to Psyche, Ode on a Grecian urn, Ode to a Nightingale. Okay. Ode on Melancholy. If we discuss about its answer, the option number C is the answer. C ka 4, 3, 1, 2. If we discuss about its detail are in 1819, John Keats composed 6 odes which are among his most famous and well-regarded poems. A. 4. Ode to Psyche is an experiment in the ode genre, and Keats attempt an expanded version of the sonnet format that describes a dramatic scene. O goddess, near these tuneless numbers, wrung by sweet enforcement and remembrance dear, Keats' speaker opens the poem with an address to goddess Psyche, urging her to hear his words. B3. Ode on Grecian Urn is considered one of the greatest odes ever written. In the poem, Keats has surprisingly emotional reaction to staring at an old piece of pottery. It is an amazing poem both for some beautiful language, vivid images, and its intellectual depth. Though still unravished, the bride of quietness, though foster child of silence and slow time, the urn is a virgin unravished means she has not been touched, bride of quietness. A bride is a woman who gets married. In this case, the vase is a bride of quiet. My heart aches and a drowsy numbness pains my sense as though of hemlock I had drunk. The poet's heart aches and his body is benumbed. As he hears the song of nightingale, he feels like one who has taken a benumbing poison or a dulling drug. D2. No, go, not too late. Neither twist wolf's bane, tight-rooted for its poisonous wine. John Keats says that the melancholy mood is full of beauty and potential spiritual instruction. Therefore, instead of seeking escape through intoxication or even suicide, the melancholy individual should savor the moods because it has divine properties. Lethe was one of the river of heads in Greek and Roman mythology, drinking from it was supposed to cause forgetfulness. Prosper Proserpine was the goddess of heads. Psyche was a nymph who represented the human soul. Wasban is a plant which has poisonous properties. The shortest of Keats' odes is written in a very regular form that matches its logical, argumentative, thematic structure. Question number 13. Match the character with the play. Character play. Dormant, the plain dealer. Lady Fitgate, the man of mode. Malvole, the country wife. Barnes, the malcontent. So what is the answer? The answer is B. इसमें क्या क्या है? A2. The Man of a Moat is a restoration comedy by George Athris written in 1676. Dormant is the handsome, witty, and a devilish protagonist. Dormant loves the thrill and drama of chasing women but does not want to settle down until he meets his match in Harriet. He is defended by most who know him, although despised by his scorned mistress, Mrs. Lovett and Belinda. B3. The Country Wife is a restoration comedy written in 1675 by William Wycherley. Lady Fitgate is the wife of Sir Jasper Fitgate and is in love with Horner. Lady Fitgate is an equally debauched as a man and completely hypocritical. C4. Malcontent. The Malcontent is an early Jacobean stage play written by the dramatist and stylist John Marston. 1603. The play was one of Marston's most successful work. Giovanni Alfonso, the deposed Duke of Genoa, disguised as Malvole, the malcontent hurls insult at the dissolute courtiers and ladies around him while he inwardly laments the misfortune that have forced him to play this role. His feigned eccentricity enables him to learn of the court intrigues and eventually to engineer the recovery of his dukedom. D1. The Play Dealer is a restoration comedy by William Wycherley. The play is based on Moliere's Le Misanthrope and is generally considered Wycherley's finest work along with The Country Wife. Varnish is an old friend of Captain Manley who betrays the captain. Question number 14. What comes after great pain in the famous Emily Dickinson poem? A. The letting go. B. Option A. Concrete simplicity. C. Substantial light. D. A. Formal feeling. So what is the answer? You know, the answer is D. D. A formal feeling. If we discuss about its detail, after great pain is a formal feeling comes is a short poem on the subject of pain by one of many Emily Dickinson wrote in 1862, an important year for the prolific recursive poet. After great pain is a poem that concentrates on mental anguish, grief, and perhaps sorrow. It explores internal pain whilst naming actual anatomical parts such as nerves, the feet, and the heart. Emily Dickinson wrote a great deal of this type of poetry, focusing on pain, sorrow, grief, terror, and death. If we discuss about its 15 question, the grammar bullies, you read them in places like the New York Times and they tell you what is correct. You must never use hopefully we will be going there on Thursday. That is incorrect and wrong, and you are basically an ignorant pig if you say it. This is judgmentalism, the game this is being played. There is a game of social class. It has nothing to do with the morality of writing and speaking and thinking clearly, of which George Orwell, for instance, talked so well. To which famous essay of Orwell does the author refers here? Option A. Inside the Hill. Inside the Will. B. Option B. Politics and the English Language. Option C. Reflections on Gandhi. Option D. Why I Write. So what is the answer? The answer is B. Politics and English Language. If we discuss about its detail, is that Politics and the English Language 1946 is an essay by George Orwell that criticizes the ugly and inaccurate written English of his time and examines the connection between political orthodoxies and debasement of language. The essay focuses on political language, which, according to Orwell, is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable, and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wine. Orwell believes that the language used was necessarily vague and meaningless because it was intended to hide the truth rather than express it. The question number 16. In the spring of 1941, 𝐤𝐧𝐠𝐥𝐢𝐬𝐡 embarked on one of his most ambitious projects, a play known as Young Days. What English Greek title is known as? Option A, Buddha; B, Brobdingnan; C, Zoroaster; D, Zorba. So what is the answer? Option number A is the answer, Buddha. If we discuss about its detail, Nikos Kazantzakis was a Greek writer widely considered a giant of modern Greek literature. He was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature in 9 different years. In Buddha, Kazantzakis set himself the task of examining the totality of experience which seemed to have been confirmed in the political cataclysm he witnessed. The play is hug and comprehensive. It presents not only the total situations but also various reactions to it, all of which were faced of Kazantzakis on conflicting reaction to the actual events of 1940 to 1941. Specifically, it presents the reaction of a man torn between the need to remain Buddhistically aloof from events and opposite need to participate in the world's ephemeral shadow dance, to indulge in the supreme folly of trying to act as though the phenomenal world were real. Buddha is set in China at an indeterminate time in the early 20th century. Question number 17. One of the less noticed and knowledgeable distinction of Canterbury Tales is that option A, instead of revealing a land division, it reveals its diversity. Option B, it upheld the idea that we can't divorce poetry from knowledge because poetry itself is an object of knowledge. C, it alerted us to the term auctor, someone who is both an originator or one who gives increase the best description for Chaucer himself. D, it married domesticity of divinity, the baker's loaf with the bread of life. So what is the answer? The answer number A is the answer. Is instead of revealing England's division, it reveals its diversity. If we discuss about its detail, the Canterbury Tales, Middle English Tales of Canterbury Tales, is a collection of 24 stories that runs to over 17,000 lines, written in Middle English by Geoffrey Chaucer between 1387 and 1400. Not only it deals with the dilemma of class and deception, but also shows immoral and corrupt standard of the church of early 14th century. Chaucer's satire targets all segments of the medieval social issues, human immorality and depraved heart. The idea of corruption also uploads thematic significance in Canterbury Tales because most of the characters associated with the church are not religious, pious, and dutiful as they must be. The social class system that existed in medieval England was being explored. He used his character to critique and satirize English society. In short, Chaucer's group of pilgrims is essentially a microcosm of England during 14th century, and so he realistically represents the diverse range of people in English society. Question number 18. The following epitaph was written by Rudyard Kipling during the War of 1914 to 18. Hindu's boy in France. This man in his own country prayed, we know not to what powers, we pray them to reward him for his bravery in ours. Powers here refer to dash, then to dash, and ours to dash. So options are the Hindu, the France, the British. B. The divine powers, our country. C. The military, the Hindu spy powers. D. Authorities, his compatriots, our country. So what is the answer? The answer is B. The divine powers, our country. If we discuss about its detail, Joseph Rudyard Kipling was an English journalist, short story writer, poet, and novelist. He was born in India, which inspired much of his work. In 1907, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, making him the first English language writer to receive the prize, and he remains today its youngest ever recipient. Most war poets focused on what they saw around them, the plight of English infantry of the Western Front. Kipling brought a different perspective. Kipling modeled his epitaph of the war on the Greek anthology, a collection of short poems, some written as far back as in 6th century BC. The earliest ones are epitaph and memorial inscriptions for Tom. His epitaph of the war salutes an unsung range of actors in Hindu spy. Of in France, 1 million Indian soldiers fought in the war. Next question, number 19. Which Walter Scott novel is set in France in 15th century? A. 𝐟𝐮𝐥𝐿, B. Ivanhoe, C. The Antiquary, D. Quentin Durward. So what is the answer? The option number D is the answer, Quentin Durward. If we discuss about its detail, the story Quentin Durward concerns a Scottish archer in the service of French King Louis XI, 1423 to 1483. It was Scott's first fictional venture onto the continent of Europe. Quentin Durward is a historical novel of adventure and romance by Sir Walter Scott, published in 1823. The novel was a popular success and solidified Scott's reputation as a starring writer. The novel is set in 15th century in France, where the title character saves the life of Louis XI, protects and falls in love with Countess Isabelle de Croix, a Burgundian heiress, helps defeat the king's brutal enemy, and wins Isabel's hand in marriage. Today's last question is, in which work does William Blake says that Milton was a true poet and of Devil's Party without knowing it? Option A, London. B, Song of Innocence. C, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. D, The Chimney Sweeper. So the answer is C, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. If we discuss about its detail, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell is a book by English poet and printmaker William Blake. It is a series of texts written in imitation of biblical prophecy but expressing Blake's own intensely personal, romantic, and revolutionary belief. The book describes the poet's visit to hell, a device adopted by Blake from Dante's Divine Comedy and Milton's Paradise Lost. Blake's The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, which he engraved in the early years of the French Revolution, repeatedly inverts the conventional hierarchies and places heaven over hell and angels above devils. It features a devilishly subversive reaction to Milton's epic account of humankind temptation fall in Paradise Lost. William Blake claims that John Milton as a true poet and his epic poem Paradise Lost was Devil's Party without knowing it. He also claims that Milton's set was truly his Masiha. So guys, in the next video I will discuss about its next question series. Okay, thank you.